The wild hunt. It's all fun and games.
Oh, would you shut up with that, jackass? Growled Cordelia, her golden eyes flashing as she shot Theodora an annoyed look. We've been walking for hours, and all you've been talking about is these damn games.
I wasn't talking about games, dummy.
If you'd let me finish the sentence. Theodora stood with her hands on her hips, a flicker of defiance in her gaze. She'd learned early on never to trust a fae who could shapeshift. Her father had warned her, after all. Yet here she was, trudging alongside one of the most stubborn werewolf fae in existence. But Cordelia was her best lead to finding her father, so for now, Theodora had to play along and keep her true nature hidden. If Cordelia ever discovered she was a fairy, the consequences would be disastrous.
You're an idiot, that's all, Cordelia snapped back.
We've been hiking in this direction for 4 hours, Theodora.
Are you sure you sense he's this way?
Theodora's heart skipped a beat. She could sense her father's presence like a safe, familiar scent in the air, but she couldn't let Cordelia know just how close they were. The tension built within her, half dreading the moment they'd find him, half savoring the time she spent with the aggravating fae. The thought was ridiculous, but something about Cordelia intrigued her. Beneath all the gruffness, there was a strength and wildness Theodora couldn't quite resist. She hated to admit it, but she wasn't in a rush to leave her side. Suddenly, Theodora bumped into Cordelia's muscular back, distracted by her thoughts. The werewolf fae turned to glare at her, yellow eyes gleaming with disbelief.
Ya look pale. Tired?
Is that why you're trying to tell me some dumb bullshit story? We'll set up camp here in this cave. Looks safe enough. I'll check it out first. Don't need anyone lurking inside, waiting to take us out. Before Theodora could respond, Cordelia flashed her a wink, causing Theodora to blush. She turned quickly, trying to focus on setting up a perimeter around the camp. Her surveillance abilities, though magical, were no match for Cordelia's brute strength. Still, it was the least she could offer.
Kai, holler if you need me.
We're good, Dora. Cordelia's voice came from inside the cave, dropping the first part of her name with an easy familiarity that made Theodora's insides twist in strange ways. Inside the cave, Theodora accepted the blanket Cordelia tossed her, snuggling into it for warmth. She watched as the wolfish fae effortlessly set up a fire from the wood she'd stuffed into her enchanted bag, an item they'd acquired from a small village, but Theodora recognized it as her father's. He'd left it as a sign, hoping someone who knew him would find it. Cordelia had been that person. Theodora's eyes flickered to the fae's face as she tore into a piece of chicken with sharp wolf-like teeth. She wondered if they'd ever be able to discuss the intricacies of their respective kin. She, a fairy capable of human size through a rare ritual, and Cordelia, a werewolf-fae hybrid, an anomaly of the supernatural world. It was strange how comfortable she felt around someone she should be avoiding.
What are you thinking about?
Cordelia's voice broke her thoughts. There was a hint of curiosity in her tone, cautious but genuine, as if even she was surprised Theodora had stuck around this long. Theodora blushed and glanced away. Just the games, she said with a wink, trying to keep things light. Cordelia's cheeks darkened slightly, catching Theodora off guard. I'm serious though, Theodora added quickly. The games are important in the fairy realms.
I know you're fae.
How in the goddess' name do you know that? Cordelia asked, her eyes narrowing with suspicion. Well, for starters, you've got the hairiest legs I've ever seen. Your eyes are yellow, and your canines are terrifyingly large. Cordelia's growl cut through the air. You're a fairy. And you still traveled with me? Or just plain stupid? I'm not an idiot, Theodora shot back, frowning. You haven't hurt me yet.
Right. Yet.
Cordelia interrupted. Your kind are tricksters, always causing trouble. I could have turned you in to the hunters ages ago,
But you're lucky I like ya. Theodora's chest tightened. You don't really mean that, she said softly. She couldn't bear the thought of Cordelia truly hating her, not after everything. Cordelia grumbled, looking away.
Allrecht, fein.
I might'a exaggerated. But you fairies are tricky, always stealing my stuff and then trying to sell it back to me like we're friends. That's no reason to say we deserve to rot in hell. Cordelia waved her off with a sharp grin. Maybe not. But you're annoying for sure. Theodora gritted her teeth. You can't just say that, dummy. Can't I?
Before Theodora could stand up in frustration, Cordelia's strong arm pulled her back down, wrapping around her in an unexpectedly warm embrace.
Theodora's heart raced.
Cordelia.
Oh, come on, Cordelia teased. If you were a real fairy, you'd have died from exhaustion already. My body heat's the only thing keeping ya alive. Besides, don't act like you haven't been wanting to snuggle up to me this whole time. Theodora's face flushed as she tried to protest, but her words faltered. She stayed there, wrapped in Cordelia's warmth until the morning sun crept into the cave. Neither of them spoke about it when they rose to continue their journey. When they finally found Theodora's father, it was chaos. They fought the kidnappers side by side, Cordelia's claws flashing and Theodora's magic weaving through the air. And as they fought, their hands brushed, locking together for just a moment that said more than words ever could. Perhaps some things were worth the risk.